Well, let's see. So we are, for example, starting at the right bottom, where you can see that Iron Maiden has already cast his Golden Mine, the same as last game. So he's really intent on probably the same kind of strategy that he had last game. That means a lot of raiding, and his starting hand is, of course, as usual, on Marsh, very nicely positioned, and otherwise, well, not much interesting, but a first relic here. Better ranged attack and melee attack for towers. Well, that's pretty interesting, although I'm kinda thinking that Iron Maiden as the aggressive one is not really going to be using that all that much, so just to be kept in his protection from his opponents. And the pocket for AoL is Puma right now, so that's a pretty sweet position for their Zeus. Starting position for the hunt, of course. As usual, pretty nice. And with his scout, he just discovered, well, just a crocodile, so that's it. Otherwise, though, he has a very nice herd of, or what is it, group of pigs right near the settlement, which is, well, this seems like to be Iron Maiden settlement, actually, looking at the minimap, and this will be third from a Puma. A bit forwardish, but not anything too bad, and I'm not really expecting to be some water here, so it shouldn't be cut off from him in some brutal way. Better infantry attack versus Titans. Well, we did see Titan last game around, so it could prove useful, especially if somebody goes Ragnarok against it again. And the last one from AoL to have a look at is Berserker. Yep, pretty much standard position, and you can see that Swoop-D is already scouting him with his Oracle. Well, otherwise at the back of his base, something interesting, well, extra hunt, which is very nicely positioned, and this is going to be cranes at the back. So yeah, this is very nice indeed as well. Some piggies at the forefront and another relic. Better pierce attack for archers, ballista, and so on, so forth. That's okay. And two lions, well, that's meh. Another relic here is between him and Sub-DE. That's cheaper village of food costs. That's thumbs up. That's a very good relic. This is actually going to be very useful. And looking at the map, it's kind of curious. You can see that Sub-DE is very nicely divided from his opponent Berserker. So this is a very nice position for him. Just a wall here and some bit of walls here, and he will be protected from any raiding whatsoever. So that's very nice. And otherwise, well, standard hunt for him. And something at the back, yeah, 3 hippos. So he doesn't really need to be going anywhere forward, so he will just do with all the extra hand he has in his base and doesn't really need to be thinking about some brutal offensive. And he might be having a quite nice use of this natural defense that he has been given. Although at the same time, this TC is whose? Looking at it, it's probably Berserkers. It seems like Frost TCs are actually somewhere at the bottom, as this is probably third of Swoops, more or less. And this is third of Gaffer, and well, this one would be the third of Swiss Boys, so not really any TC screws, which is nice to see. Usually are pretty pissed when something like that happens. And this is a very nice relic, Villager Farming Rate. Well, very nice indeed. Since we are reaching the time when actually Oranosis should be advancing, let's have a look, and Swiss Boy already is clicked in. That's going to be pretty decent time for 30. That's not bad at all. Quite a lot of hunt at the forefront. Just have a look at the minimap. So saw a lot of brown, and this is what the reason for it. Just now Iron Maiden having a look with his Elfsark and actually building a house so that he can see if maybe later in the game a trade route is being somehow built here. That's a pretty nice and neat little play. So advance for green already happening, and as looking for the pocket, also get for the cat 40% in there. And the last one from Swoop DE 50% in, so that's going to be pretty much all of them, something like 430, which is half decent and pretty good. At the same time though, you can see the Berserker is even faster than them with his Forsetti, and he will be pretty fast to actually raid, and right now he's gathering some of the relics here. This is the... oh yeah, Myth unit special attack recharge time faster. That's very nice indeed for Loki. Obviously for the heavy mythical units use. That's going to be pretty sweet for him. Some nice scouting from Geffer the Cat to actually see what's going to happen in the middle. So I'm kind of thinking this Oracle might be standing here for a bit longer. And well, yeah, just pretty much everybody advancing into classical and everybody is in. So let's see where the first battles are actually going to happen here. Now we're gonna expect that the first to go somewhere forward will be Berserker, right now finishing his barracks to actually pump enough Heresiers, and he is actually housed. For a moment he was housed, but not anymore. And he deems that this army is actually enough to have a look somewhere forward. Which just as well might be the truth. As you can see, Swoop is just having his Prometheans going for some extra scouting intelligence, and well, it seems like Berserker will be intent. Ah, now who you want? I was kind of thinking it would be a waste of the potential of these guys, so it's not going to happen. And it seems like Puma is going to join him with the Centaur Raiden, so that's kind of interesting. At the bottom, there's just Kataskopos and not another Centaur, and yes, you can see yep, it's going to be pretty much a double, it seems, from Centaurs and Berserker's normal army to actually go into Swoop DE, who is right now taking the very valuable relic for the villager food cost. So this still means though that Berserker doesn't have enough army and Swoop DE is doing very well with actually massing the units faster than his opponent, although that might change very soon because this is quite enough right now. And with the healing ability to actually put his Heresier at the top health, well, soon he might be ready to actually do something more meaningful. These centaurs are right now in Polemarchs, so they will be about to actually go somewhere nicely at this back. Will they find it? Ah yes, they will. They will. So let's have a look if they actually really do, and then we'll switch at the bottom where something interesting in green is happening. So he just... Oh yeah, I thought he will miss it, but... Oh, in this one. Oh, he didn't check what willies actually are half dead, and if he converge on this one, he would have been able to kill it. Right now he won't kill even just one of those. That's a bit of a misplay, but yeah, unfortunate for him. In the middle we can see that Iron Maiden is not having a nice game, as Geffer the Cat, together with his teammate Green Swiss Boy, are just now catching him unawares, killing his ox cart, and well, just basically nullifying his food gathering for a moment, which is going to be very unfortunate for him, as he's of course very reliant on food, as his main army right now is not just horses, he's just switching into something a bit different from last game, implementing some Heresiers as well. So he's not going for the same strategy as he was last game. Right now he's finding himself under attack from both purple and green, so that's going to be a tower down. Is he actually going for upgrading them? Ah yes, he is. Right now the watchtower has been upgraded, so that was a pretty good job from Frost to actually take it down. That's going to be one less tower to protect this gold, even though this is well in range. It is a bit of a problem, because right now they could have been fired upon by all this extra fire, but they are not. Well, right now it seems like Iron Maiden is defending quite nicely, so let's have a look at the top, where Berserker together with Puma were trying to have some fight in Teal's base. And you can see it's basically, well, Teal together with Purple as well, so Purple is right now at both sides. And is that going to be enough? Well, it means that both of his armies are actually spread thin, which will result in probably not being all that useful at either side. You should probably choose just one, and that is usually much more valuable, unless you are in late game and have just population to spare. But right now you can see that Berserker together with Yellow are doing pretty well and are just pushing on Swoop DE. So is he maybe going for towers himself? No, he isn't yet, but it would help him immensely to actually stop all these attacks. At the bottom we can see that Iron Maiden was having a bit of a problem with actually stopping the attack here, but he did, because Geffer the Cat did not retreat, whereas Swiss Boy right now was joining with a pretty big army. He did flee with the rest of his units, unlike Geffer, and right now he's having a pretty decent army, although with the extra towers here I'm not exactly thinking This is going to be enough to deal with all of this. This will be just coming down to better micro. So let's see if it's going to be Iron Maiden or Swiss Boy with better game mechanics. Well, right now it seems like Swiss Boy is not really believing himself to be better positioned in this fight, trying to probably spread the units so that he can actually use the bottom army to pick off some of those throwing axemen, which are a problem to him. But, well, in the meantime, that didn't really work out, did it? In the middle of Yellow's base, you can also see some purple blobs, so that's a bit of the units that actually survived the fight in Blue's base. And they are right now attempting to raid, but yeah, they won't. Tower has just been researched, which means all these wheelies are pretty much safe. It's not like the Turmas can do anything reasonable here, even from this side. It's easy to defend. Which means that here near the healing spring and the tower, well, green doesn't really have anything at all with which he can actually push blue forward, or rather back into his own base. Right now this is not a fight he wants to take, and yeah, he realizes a bit too slowly. But he realizes at least, and with a very good micro from Iron Maiden, actually stopping the units from retreat, he was able to kill some extra units here. So a pretty good job, and right now it seems like blue will be coming into offensive on there. In the middle, there's pretty much a full-on battle right now between Gaffer, Swoop, and on the other side, Berserker and Puma. And of course, he's going for AoL side, as it's kind of predicted. Both, well, skill-wise, it's not like Frost are some kind of worse players than AoL, not really. Frost are pretty good, especially in vanilla. And, well, here you can see that actually the natural defense that Swoop right now is having is going to be abused by Berserk very nicely. You can see oh my, this is so clever. This is so damn clever. Transporting all his units across the water, actually right into the base here. And well, since Swoop is right now here, through the nice spy, actually Berserker knows about this, he won't be able to return anytime soon. So yeah, Berserker just now waiting for the Breggy, and he will be going into the base and going for flaming weapons and some good spawns for him. Oh wow, this is so cleverly played. A very nice play indeed by Berserker. In the middle we can see before this starts. Let's have a quick look here. And Swoop he was actually trying to fight Yellow here in the middle, which turned very sour for him quite soon. So let's have a look at the base right now. And are we going to see the flaming weapons? With the Iron AR here for extra damage. That might not even happen. Yeah, he might not even need that, it seems, and he will be able to kill some of these extra willies they are just now trying to repair. Yeah, that's a pretty good job, one dead. And, well, that seems to be secured right now, but at the same time this is going to be dead. Is it? Oh yeah, it is. It seems like, yeah, he's not enough. He's not fast enough to actually return to his base, and right now the flaming weapons are pretty nicely called, I would say. Still, Berserker has enough army to actually kill quite a lot of units here, and with some few good spawns of the mythical units, he will be just good to go to kill both of these armies at the same time. Right now though, Yellow needs to do something. He needs to really go into attack as well, because right now Berserker is going to lose everything, quite obviously. But he is at the same time going to kill quite a lot of armies of both Swoop DE and his teammate Gaffer the Cat. So that's a pretty nice battle. And right now, well, Berserker has to retreat, so let's have a look. How's it looking for Iron Maiden, who is right now switching into the play that we know from the last game, where he's just raiding with his raiding cavalry. And it seems to be going pretty well indeed, as Green is having no army in his base, besides these few soldiers. And he was actually aiming to raid with his Turmas. So is it going to work? Well, I'm kind of skeptical, because you can see this is very nicely defended. Yellow is reasonably defended, just these willies could be a bit problematic. But otherwise, well, he's still not going into any good position whatsoever. So, this is Blue raiding very nicely, even though he has to be careful right now. You can see a bit of idols here, and also a yellow blob at the back of Green's, or rather Purple's base, so right in the willies. And right Right now he notices, but it's still the result, at least the one that we leave. So pretty good job in Raiden. Even though he's having literally no upgrades, well, this is really all that it takes to be successful. Right now you can see that somehow Swiss Boy actually found the only vulnerable place of Puma's villagers. So good job on that, which means that's already 3 villages dead, if I remember correctly the numbers here. Oh, well, pretty good job at the Raiden, although is it going to be really all that game changing? I'm not all that sure. Looking at the top, you can see that Berserker's army is already dead. Yeah, that was kind of obvious that was going to happen. And otherwise, he's not having enough yet, but he's not giving up at all. He's just right now going for hill forts, securing his front gold, and right now switching into a bit of a Ulf Sarks, which is probably just out of some willies to defend, and switching into the Boars. So yes, and well, even some Jarls. Ulf Jarl right now, so that's going to be pretty decent raid in there. And you can see that Puma has returned from his trip into Purple's base, and well, Blue's base, Blue's trip is still continuing very strongly. So he's not really letting Swiss Boy actually breathe right here and making his life very difficult indeed with raiding and defending at the same time. These Tromas are just trying to see something which they want. You can see that Berserker is right now, instead of attacking, he's just now helping defend against that and helping his yellow teammate gather the gold in a secure position. So yeah, that's not bad, even though yellow has written for him and is waiting very nicely. So it seems like green will be forced to actually retreat with everything right into his base and, well, quite possibly defend against blue's attack very soon. Blue is right now actually has taken the 30 TC as well, so right now the TCs are equal, more or less. Just one more for AoLs, but nothing has been stolen yet. This is a bit of a problem if AoLs don't capture it, because this is a Berserker's third, and he really needs it. And right now, with those birdies and not having Mythical Age, he may be advancing. No, he isn't, so he's not Mythic, which is really a problem because he has no way actually to get rid of those. He would have to build some extra draws, which he is not doing right now, so this is basically the only thing that can save him right now, those hill forts. So he is forced to be passive as, well, he has no way to actually kill this army that easily. At the bottom we can see that purple together with green have joined forces, and right now are 2 versus 1 in Iron Maiden, and that's, yeah, not really a battle that Iron Maiden wants to take. He's looking with some of his upgrades, for example. At least against those Turmas, and well, same could be said about Swiss Boy. And how about purple? Nothing, and yellow, still nothing. So right now, it's developing into proper full 2v2 between the Frost and AoL. That's a pretty big army, and right now the healing spray actually stolen by green is helping him quite nicely, but that's just stopped by Iron Maiden arriving at his healing spray and capturing the bag for himself. Right now I'm kinda thinking he might be forced to use his Heroic Age flaming weapons, although it's kinda too late here right now because he's losing quite a lot of army. And he's maybe thinking that he can simply overpower his opponent by the virtue of having his military buildings closer to him and having the extra TC fire, or rather tower fire here. So Gefra is through to Mythic, and it's actually the first one together with Swoop, so they are doing very well. And we see the Tartar Ingot being cast, and that's a decent position because it should result in actually some stop production in food for Iron Maiden, which could be a bit of a problem. And right now you can see that Swiss Boy is doing really well, and if Gefra the Cat can supply enough units fast enough, this will be a very hard to defend for AoLs. At the top, at the same time, you can see that Swoop is winning. Well, he doesn't have any upgrades, but it's not like Berserker has any. Yeah, just copper shields. And he's doing very well, and right now his birds, if he has any extras, or will be able to actually summon some more, they could be pretty crucial, because Berserker is still not up. I'm not really thinking that he's advancing. Right now he will be forced to actually Yeah, he actually is. So 70%, so he will be soon there. And the window of opportunity for Frost is closing very fast. It's closing really very fast, and if he wants to do something, he really needs to do it fast. Because once Berserker is in Mythic, Fire Giants are going to come in, and that might be all it takes, actually, to turn this battle around fully. Right now, though, Subdi is not really trusting himself to go for it. There's going to be Dragon right there. Yeah, he is. To get rid of this pesky birdie. And right now, well, quite obviously, this is Berserker's time actually to do something. Right now, I'm kind of thinking he won't really go forward, but go for the TC. Yeah, I kind of expected that. That would have been the better course of action, because he is having upper hand, but not that strong enough to actually do something about it. And let's have a look somewhere else on the map. This was basically cast just because of Berserker's TC. He just wants to get on par with all of his allies and his enemies as well, so that's a pretty good play. And, well, this is a decent army of yellow, but without any upgrades. Finally at least some. And right now advancing into Heroic Age, so they do have the Underworld Passage to actually stop the Titan Gate that was being researched by Gaffer the Cat. I think he already has it ready. He's probably about to cast it somewhere. Right now, yeah, the Hesperids trees will be as a protection. That was probably cast here, and here he is. So I'm kinda right now looking forward to Underworld Passage, maybe. But they will first need some line of sight here, which they do not have anywhere near close. So it's going to be a bit of a time before that happens. And, well, very nice play from Swiss Boy, who is right now at 4 TCs, who has actually probably basically stolen one of his teammates. But right now, he will be deleting Iron Maiden's TC very easily, without any trouble whatsoever. And he will probably kill this yellow army at the same time, because this wasn't really a good fight from Puma to go into. So even though he will deal some damage, I have worries that was not really worth it. Also somebody is being raided, and, well, something else happening somewhere. Well, just a pause, so let's have a look what's happening all around the map. You can see that still the Tartarian Gate wasn't killed for quite a long time, just recently. You can still see the spawns here. That's very nice to see. And, well, Force should be dealing with it quite soon, and once that happens, Iron Maiden will be actually able to deal with everything and put everything into attack. This is a very nice idea from Gaffer the Cat to actually limit the possibilities of Iron Maiden. And, well, if Iron Maiden isn't aware of this, that's going to be a bit of a problem for him, because this will be a very nice beachfront, or rather beachhead, for his allies to rely on. And a very nice strategic idea for Frost right here. At the up, you can see that, well, has a serious amount of trolls, and he's probably building them because of the fear of those extra birdies, which are not coming so far, but what is coming is a full army of Gaffer the Cat. And joined right now is Subdi, that would be quite enough to actually stop Berserker's belligerent thoughts right now. But it more seems like that Gaffer is right now actually waiting for his Titan. So let's see if that will be true, and really, it seems so. It seems like he's waiting for the Titan to actually push through, and it should be actually enough. It shouldn't be a good position for Berserker to actually defend it, and right now he's realizing it, and he's using his units to the fullest effect, because he probably just realized what's going to happen if he doesn't. So he just wants to put Gaffer the Cat 1 TC down, which is a very good idea, and it's successful right now. So TC down, and we have Puma through Hephaestus as well. So that's going to be a very nice army of Myrmidons, and together with this, quite some decent amount of Colossi as well. Let's have a look though at the blue's base. As you can see that green has joined the battle quite eagerly, with a lot of units, and you can see a lot of Ulfsarks here, and you can be sure that those Ulfsarks came from the village here, gathering the food, because Iron Maiden just needed anything whatsoever to stop the onslaught that was pretty strong here. And well, Puma right now is in place, so it should be contained, but still, the damage has been dealt, and problem is that Iron Maiden has lost quite a lot of villies actually to these Ulfsarks, and if he advances into Mythic and Bragi for Ragnarok, he won't really have the full pop villies, so yeah. That's really a double-edged sword that he right now used. Especially when you look at the extra building here, the extra palace. Well, this is a pretty good idea from Gaffer the Cat together with his teammate Swiss Boy to actually push into Blue's base and delete him whatsoever. And they are doing pretty well at that. So it will all remain if Puma can actually help him enough. At the same time at the top we can see that Gaffer the Cat's Titan is finally wreaking havoc in Berserker's forward base. And very successfully at that. Which means that Berserker is basically out of any army whatsoever. And this will be time for SubDE to actually take his 30C. Heavy Fanatics with, well, at least the base attack upgrade. Now he's looking for the more Milos base, but still, it's strong enough. It's strong enough, and some foot soldier, yes, all baseline still. So it's basically even on the upgrades here on both sides. This I think could be pretty crucial right now, it seems, as Berserker is not having enough fire giants, who are pretty good against Titan at the same time, to kill him. So that's not really good for him, which will result in DC down. And right now, Yellow has his hands full actually defending Iron Maiden, while he is needed at the top very sorely. So he needs to help Iron Maiden fast enough to actually defend and put Iron Maiden on his own feet, so that he can go and help Berserker, because right now Berserker is under heavy double. And well, Puma together with Iron Maiden are just being engaged by one player, by Swiss Boys, so this is not really going well for AoL right now. You can see that Eel has already broken in and is right now interested in taking down the extra 5 from those towers. And he's advancing very forwardishly. I'm kind of thinking he will be attacking TC very soon, even with his units. Although the Titan is not very far behind, and you can see that he's been barely touched, just 400 hit points lower. And yeah, right now SubDE is taking his DC and raiding on Berserker's gold release. Oh, through these Arcusai, and together with a bit of Dryads. So, this hurts. Both of Ox cards, both these Ox cards are gone, and well, a fair bit of release as well. And no gathering, so yeah, this is a problem. Another DC down will be for Berserker, so it's not really going very well for AoL. And I was looking at the bottom right now. It seems like Yellow finally gave up, and it seems like Iron Maiden believes he will be actually able to defend himself by himself, which I'm not that all sure about, but it could be the case. It could be the case, although it's SubDE right now going for Titan Gate. I'm not exactly sure about that. So Yellow is right now going into the middle, actually trying to kill somehow the forward base of his opponents, which, well, not exactly sure he will succeed because of the sheer amount of units here from Swiss Boy. All he needs really to do is transfer some of those Arcuses to heroes, which he should do sooner rather than later, to actually delete all his mythical units. And well, Berserker is being killed, and very much so. Very much so. Right now SubDE has taken the 30C and is trying to make it defensive. Make it defensible very nicely. And I'm kinda thinking that Berserker won't be able to defend his DC if SubDE actually decides to go for it. Right now he's just not very coordinated, he's just losing units one by one. And they are just leaving the Titan up to his job, which is basically the best idea. Deleting TC, that's the most damage that he can do. Just don't go for the war here. Yep, right now he's being ungoverned, it seems. And the huge battle is going on where? Well, in the middle we can see, at the bottom, Iron Maiden has been forced to actually cast Ragnarok. I'm kinda thinking not at a position that he would have liked. But still, he has enough units. Does he have enough upgrades on them? Well, at least some. Almost all, so that's not bad at all. So he should be able to kill this forwardish base. And at the same time, he is having quite a decent amount of units in Teal's base. And they might be able to actually kill the Titan Gate if they are fast enough. Right now they're trying to take down the palace to actually limit some of the damage that's ahead in his way. And with all these extra units, that could be it. That could be it. And we have a bolt, and that was cast at the Titan. I saw that on the minimap, and with the amount of fire giants actually increasing, it seems like the Titan is slowly but surely here in his end. Actually, it seems like Berserker has been able to rebuild his base TC. That's a bit of an oversight on Swoop's side. Yeah, he's having no army here whatsoever, so I'm not exactly sure where it is. Probably went all back to defend the Titan Gate, which is just now destroyed. So very nicely played by Iron Maiden, who's used his Ragnarok and flaming weapons correctly. So that's a pretty problematic situation right now from Swoop DE, who has at the same time been reduced to just 2 TCs. And also you can see some nice AoL Pumas Underworld Passage. So it seems like a TC steal. Yeah, we already see the Willies here, and they will be stealing the TC, so that's a very nice play here. A very nice play, and I'm kinda curious why the bottom TC is still not being captured. That's kinda curious. Maybe it was by Swiss Boy and it was just now deleted, although I'm kinda thinking not. I wasn't really seeing it anytime soon, but anyway, you can see that the front base of Swiss Boy together with the Gaffercat has been killed by Iron Maiden's Ragnarok, and well, it was killed, but it's not like Iron Maiden is getting anywhere near this DC. It's very well defended by all those towers and the palace, and well, Green just has all the units here. So yeah, you can see that the destroyers are coming back to actually wreck some of those extra buildings and TCs. At the top, you can see that, well, very nice reaction from Frosts, who were able to actually stop Puma's idea, which is a bit of a shame, and it might result in a pretty much wasted Underworld Passage from AoL, which it's not really good, but I think it bought them enough time to actually let Berserker get back on his feet, because the Titan is already dead. They killed the second one, and once this Underworld Passage is actually down, it will be just safe haven again. It is almost dead, so let's just have it clicked here, and well, Berserker still on just one TC, built in second, you can see on the minimap, just now finishing. Right now he's using this opportunity with Puma to push through and actually reclaim his third front. That's a pretty good play, and these gold willies should already be retreating, because it's not like Frosts have enough army to actually defend them, and this is just going to cost some lives. This is just going to cost some lives, and very unnecessarily so. Yeah, right now they are finally going somewhere else, but not before some damage has been dealt. Well, that's a decent army, and very nice play from Berserker, who is continuing with the very nice play of this dock. And right now, that means he will be basically controlling this TC, even if it isn't his. It definitely won't be Swoop's, or any Frosts for that matter. Right now he's just attempting to kill as many TCs as he can, to put Gaffer and Swoop at a difficult position to defend with. And right now he's captured his third, so that means he is on even grounds with his opponents, which is very nice to see for him. He's of course down, because this army of... let's have a look at the Myrmidons. I want to click in. And they have all the upgrades, but they are just medium. So we are still waiting for Champion Myrmidons to make them even more super strong. And the cat is just not giving up. He's just not giving up on this gold. He just wants to. He just wants to mine it. He just does. and he's just willing to pay lives for that. So very nice job here by Berserker actually coming back from being wrecked by the Titan. And with all these buildings here, it seems like he might actually be able to hold this by himself, although the sheer amount of Arcus is very strong there. Somewhere in the map happening something else? I'm kinda thinking not. Right now at the bottom it seems like Iron Maiden is not really thinking about any attack at all. He's just right now very interested in defending as much as he can. You can tell that by Puma actually building some extra towers to help him, but those destroyers are going to wreck them very soon. Very decent upgrades. Almost the top line. And well, yeah, this is right now just a stalling situation from Iron Maiden together with some buildings from Puma, as they really want to give Berserker enough time at the top to get ready and get through Swoop DE with full strength. They should though be very careful about the Titan, who is being built by Swiss Boy, because Swiss Boy is right now at 5 TCs. He has stolen Iron Maiden's front, and the Titan is not really going to be that much of a problem with his population limit. So right now I'm kind of thinking that Berserker is advancing fast enough, even though he's having quite a decent array of upgrades. He's having a pretty decent 1v1, or well, 1v1, 2 versus 1, let's say, because he's alone and it seems like Swoop and Gaffa the Cat are fighting both at the same front. So that's pretty good job, and well, few units here actually trying to wreck some of those military buildings is not a bad idea. And well, the Titan is not really being contested, so it's just going to be very easily in. Those guys, those ballistae are not going to be fast enough. So we have a vortex, and it's coming here. It's coming here actually, defending the Swiss Boys DC that is right now getting hammered by all those fire giants. And somehow Green's army was out of position, and even though he was really having an upper hand here against everything, he probably just went up to help his teammates, and well, that wasn't the best kind of decision. And it's, you can see very close because he needs it, and right now getting some extra health for the DC, but will it be enough? I'm kinda thinking without turning some of those Arcuses into heroes, it might not have been, but Iron Maiden opted for actually saving them on the Titan. So yeah, the DC survived. At the top, it's basically the similar situation. Both Norse from AoL are building a lot of fire giants. A lot of fire giants, and that's basically it. And right now, you can see that Berserker is actually employing some of the strategy that right now Frosts have been doing against them. And that's not a bad idea, because they will need it. Also, I happen to have a look here, where Swoop DE has picked up on the problem that was happening here from Berserker, and it seems like they will be actually doing the same, but in opposite guard. And that will mean that this TC will be in a problematic position quite soon. Right now, Gaffer the Cat is at 3, so that means, since it's the 2 versus 1 here, Berserker is not really able to fight this. And we see some first Myrmidons actually making some appearance here from Puma, which is just as well, because yeah, Berserker is not going to be able to handle this by himself. First Titan is being built by Yellow at the very back of his base, which should be reasonably safe, although is it? Because this boy still does have Vortex. So if they can get some line of sight there, yeah, they are probably attempting to do that. Yeah, those are just basically scouts get there, but they might not. Yeah, he's running just through towers, so no luck there from Green. And right now he's just going with everything he can in there, and he's probably aiming with this Titan to go there as well. And looking at how slow it's actually coming up, the percentage, I'm thinking he might be able to do so. He might be able to do so reasonably easily. Yeah, he will most probably kill the Titan guy as well. So, moving back into some battlefield here, you can see that Iron Maiden is still trying to make his way slowly but surely into Green's base. This is a pretty good idea, building the walls, because they protect his ballistae, which can then wreck the buildings without any problem whatsoever. Although, you can see that the walls have been breached, and that's a bit of a problem. It's a bit of a problem and might cost blue some of his very precious and costly ballistae. Right now though, we can see that Green's army has arrived at the Titan Gate, which is going to be wrecked, and with it, with all these extra archers here, it's going to be pretty bad for Puma and in multiple fronts, because it's going to kill quite some decent amount of Willies, and they are going to kill the trade as well. Well, this is very bad for yellow. This is very bad. There's just a lot of death here. There's just a lot of death all around being handed out. And right now, see some vortex, and it's being cast right in here. That's a pretty good play. Pretty good play, and pretty surprising for Iron Maiden, who is now going to lose all of his extra siege. Even though he was able to take down the TC, so some of the purpose for which he actually did this has been fulfilled. It's nice to see. Right now, well, that's going to be a bit of a toughie. At the top, you can see that, yes, just as expected, Berserker's TC has been taken down, most probably through the extra fire from the water. And right now, Berserker is finding himself in a heavy defensive, because Gaffer the Cat, together with Swoop DE, who is right now collecting TC, well, at least trying to do so, which I think he will, without too much of a problem pretty soon. We will put AoL's team at a pretty serious disadvantage, and this building spam is working very nicely for everybody here. So that's Frost's most definitely going forward here. And let's have a quick look what the Titan is doing right now. He has taken down TC from Pluma to putting him at another hard position. Yeah, his trade has been wrecked, not fully, but reasonably soon, and reasonably quite enough. And right now, he's concentrating on actually putting Berserker into impossible position again. Because once he is without any TCs, I'm not seeing any possible way how he could actually defend against those two guys at the top. So that's a TC down, and together with this, some farms. And Swoop DE, right now, uncontested taking of this TC. Building spam is here, and yet right now AoL recognized that this battle is not going to be won. They really needed the Titan from Puma, which did not happen unfortunately for them, and well, right now Frosts are winning and taking the game, tying the match at 1-1. So, pretty good play from Frosts, and at the bottom, even though Iron Maiden has been doing reasonably well, going forward into Green's base, finally actually being able to push through, it's just too late. It was just too late. It was doing well enough, actually tying all this army from Green, but at the top, the battle was already lost. So let's just have a look. Oh yeah, so he just now recognizes, and it's a GG. So GG, and even Wonder has been started at the very end. And yes, another Titan. That's what basically decided it all. 2 Titans on Berserker, and there was no way that he could actually fight against that. Yep, so let's have a look at the post game. Gaffer the Cat, yeah, he was doing pretty well, even though I would kinda say that Swiss Boy was doing a whole lot better. But on economy score, Gaffer the Cat was a whole lot better, as you can see. That was a beastly one. A good job. Good job, and Swiss Boy, he had a very nice military count because he was quite a long time on 4 and 5 TCs. 422 killed, yep, good job. Same as Berserker, he was even slightly better. Research is quite nice for everybody. Really any problematic heroic, maybe just for Puma 19, slightly late. but not that tragic either, I would say. But overall, Frost played really well. A nice food for Gefre at the end. Wood as well. Yeah, he was just having all the resources. Well, 30C, problem is, Maiden, that this actually wasn't your 30C, or you you could have chosen between this one and this one. And well, since you were slower, Swiss Boy made the choice for you. And that basically decided the game. So it wasn't really a map skew. This was very much contested from both sides. So anybody's pick, Swiss Boy was just faster. So good job.